Welcome everyone to another edition of our Sawdust City Happy Hour tastings. I'm so jealous of Sam today. We just turned on the Zoom right now. The second that the camera turned on, I looked at the room I'm in with the blinds pulled as I crunched numbers getting ready for week 3 in the Canadian Football League. And then I saw him wearing a white tank on a beautiful beach. Sam, where are you and what are you doing and why are you making me so jealous?
I am enjoying the wonderful climate here at Crystal Beach in Fort Erie. It's wonderful. Got a nice house here that we rented on the beach, and we're enjoying everything about it.
Fantastic.
Lots of delicious beers.
That's good. Well, we're going to have Old Woody Alt today, which we'll get into in a second. But what beers do you take to the beach? What are some of your go-tos that you like to enjoy?
I gotta tell you, I've been drinking a lot of my buddy Dave's Eastbound beers. He's got some delicious his Slack Tide Session IPA has been fantastic. Had a couple indie pilsners. Yeah, there's been usually lighter stuff. Had a couple of the Golden Beach here, the Sawdust City Golden Beach, but we were lucky enough to stop in at Brimstone Brewing yesterday. My friend Zach's the brewer there, and he had a couple of his session IPAs, which were pretty fantastic too. So plenty of awesome craft beer to be had out here in Fort Erie.
Yeah, absolutely. And Crystal Beach is beautiful. I was down there not long ago, and it's a great spot. It looks nice and busy too, which I'm jealous that people are squeezing the end of summer here, getting an opportunity to get out and enjoy.
Oh, yeah. It's been except for yesterday, this week has been pretty fantastic weather-wise. So people have been really taking in the beach and enjoying it. This water is amazing. It's so it's man.
Yeah, so I
literally got out of the water.
I was at Lake Erie, I want to say 3 weeks to a month ago, something like that. Somebody from our family had rented a cottage down there, and I went in and it shocked me how warm it is. And then the person that was renting the cottage said to me, "Oh yeah, Lake Erie is the shallowest of all the Great Lakes, so it heats up the quickest." I was like, I did not know that. I would have been doing Lake Erie far more often if I would have known that.
Yeah, I think one time I came to Shirkston in my 20s, and that's the last time I was ever. It's not like you pass by Ridgeway, Ontario on your way to anywhere specific. So you have to make this a destination, and it's worth it. There seems to be a little bit of revitalization down here, right in front of the road, Erie Road here, lots of new shops and stuff. So people are coming back to the beach and really enjoying it.
Ontario, yours to discover. They weren't lying in the ads, it turns out.
Hey.
You can actually discover it if you haven't been somewhere in a long time. But let's enjoy a beer from a place that should be a destination for everybody. If you are experiencing, of course, anywhere in Ontario, Sawdust City Brewing up there in Gravenhurst. I am enjoying today in a brand new Sawdust City IPA glass, which I'm very much appreciative of. Was sent in with this month. But as we pour here, as always, Sam, let us know the origins of Old Woody Alt.
So alt means quite literally old in German, and before they knew what a lager was, this was beer made in the old way. So it's an ale that's actually lagered. They didn't really know what the yeast was, but that's where the term alt comes from. It's from the Dusseldorf region of Germany. I've been lucky enough to go there a couple of times, and they call it sometimes the world's longest bar. It's when you go downtown Dusseldorf in the Altstadt, there's a bunch of breweries or brauereis, and you just go from brewery to brewery to brewery. So it's this huge party. And I went last time I was there, it was a Friday afternoon, and it starts at 3 and it goes. And people are just bouncing around, having a good time. It's a beautiful old city, right on the Rhine. And, you try all the different, I think there's 5 different Altbrau breweries in there. There's Schumacher, Urga, Fuchsen, Schlüssel, and that's Fuchsen, and there's one other one. It's a little bit more north, but it's amazing experience, and I would highly recommend if you're stopping anywhere, stop in Dusseldorf and try out some of the beers there. And that's what this is designed after. I fell in love with it the first time I got to go down there, and this is one of the beers we launched with way back in the day, and it's always been a tribute to those awesome beers from Dusseldorf.
That's awesome. And I know that obviously the color, people can tell from both yourself and mine. It might actually look a little ambery on my end just because I've got kind of weird lighting in here, but it is a little bit of that darker shade. But man, does it ever smell amazing. Now, the first thing that I actually thought was which one of the lager series did this remind me of right away on the nose? Was it the Bock beer?
The Gravener Steam or the Bock beer.
Yeah. Okay, so the California Common.
they got that nuttiness going on. And one of the origins of actually California Commons was like there's a lot of German immigrants. This is one of the stories of how California Commons came to be. Is that it was a bunch of German immigrants trying to recreate an alt beer when they came to California, but they only had they had a lager yeast instead of ale yeast. So they ended up making the California Common, but that's just, it's sort of like the IPA. I don't know how much those stories sometimes you have to take with a grain of salt. Sometimes as time passes, these stories get dwindled down, and whether it's is up for debate. But this is definitely like, if you recall, a couple of weeks ago we had a Kolsch.
Yep.
So Dusseldorf and Cologne are combating cities, and they talk about which beer is better. You never get an alt in Cologne, and you'll never get Kolsch in Dusseldorf. They compete. They're like Shelbyville and Springfield. It's awesome that they have this like back and forth rivalry. I mean, for my dollars, I'm gonna put it in the alt camp. I staunchly am an alt over Kolsch fan, although I love both. This is there's a little bit more to it, a lot more malt character. It's a little bit heavier, and just also my first memories of being in Dusseldorf were so amazing. Like when they were checking off the coasters, and they have to put the coaster on top and tell them you're done. And I was there with my entire group class, and it was just a wonderful experience. So like for me, that's what I'm in the alt camp.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you're so right about the maltiness of this as well. Like part of the reason when we did the lager series, I liked a lot of what was offered there, but the California Common, when I sampled it the night that you guys had your online tasting with my fiance, and the second that she tasted, she said, there's a lot going on here. And I usually don't like beers that have a lot going on, but she said, I like this one. And it has that almost like, it gives you some variety, something different that a lot of people aren't used to a lager being complex, but it doesn't punch you in the face, overwhelm you in any way, shape, or form, which I think a lot of people appreciate, but a lot of people also don't know to just walk into a place and buy a complex, multi-layered, multi-lager style, right?
Yeah, and that's they are lagered, so it does take a lot of that edge off and smooths out those maybe things that might be a bit heavier. And like that California Common and like the alt, like you can still enjoy them on a sunny day.
Right.
They're very smooth, but it just gives you a little bit more. Like I said, I've been having a lot of pilsners and session IPAs, so to switch it up and come back to I've had a couple sours maybe in there too, but like to have like a nice little bit more malty beer is a good switcheroo for a good beach day.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm a huge fan of this one. As always, I like to show people the can art and some of the backstory on this. Now, the Old Woody, I think I'm actually ashamed to say, Sam, that I have never been on one of these old style wooden boats. Do you have a good story or a memory that goes with some of the can art here that you've created?
I've only ever actually got to ride in one, but it's like you see them everywhere. It was actually called It was a friend of mine. We were at a girl he did from school, and we went out on his dad's antique boat, and like it was amazing. There's lots of the grevettes and ditch burns that you find around Muskoka, and they're called the gentleman cruisers, and they do look like a storied past. Like you can almost picture that sort of F. Scott Fitzgerald sort of look, and you don't see them as much anymore, but it's a bygone era. And it's just like it's not really a type of style you see anymore. And that's sort of where I fit them. And the color of this beer very much reminds me of those old boats, and they're beautiful. Like there's a lot of work. Actually, one of the old brewers that used to work with was Caleb. His dad had a couple.
Oh wow!
And they were like immaculate, just beautiful boats. And sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say that for me, like when you mentioned the F. Scott Fitzgerald, I actually imagine this as being like a 1960s Sean Connery, Roger Moore, like James Bond pulls up in one of these old school boats, just very slowly with the engine going as you come up to a dock and you have to, jump out and you've got your nice suit on. It feels like a classy way to travel, which is why I kind of love the complexity of the actual beer itself, with the idea of being the Old Woody and having the color kind of match up with the Old Wood. And there's just a lot of synergy between those things.
Yeah, and when we were first launching, you can see the can art. That's actually the original can art we used with Sawdust. So when we were first launching it, we wanted to say Muskoka without actually saying Muskoka. And we wanted to talk the things that you might find around the area that we find, or I found, symbolic to my history and past there. And I forgot about this until just this very second, but we were originally supposed to be a brew pub down on the wharf, and right beside us was actually an in-water boat museum.
Nice.
And they were going to be there, so this was part of like that tie into our neighbors. And then obviously we didn't end up doing that, and got the Canadian Tire, but we wanted to make sure that we were representing things that were close to us, our neighbors, our memories, and things that people sort of associate with Muskoka and the past that is there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, it is Old Woody Alt, and you can get it at sawdustcitybeer.com. It is time for Sam to slap some more SPF 60 on and go enjoy Crystal Beach while we get set for week number 3 in the Canadian Football League. Sam, thank you as always, man. This is another fantastic creation that I know people are going to love.
Thanks, Marshall, and enjoy the week and enjoy the football.